Believe it or not, but for some people, size is all that matters. It's true. And today we are translating another very fresh review of a new Haval vehicle coming to Russia. It is the brand new Haval H5. Haval H5 is built on the base of one of those very long wheelbase GWM pickup trucks, or utes as we refer to them in Australia. It's a very interesting construction. They kept the price point very low, and you will see why, but they have given those people what they desire the most, that sheer abundance, crazy in fact abundance of interior space. Who would want this? I would want this. Campers would want this. People with massive families would want this. People on a budget who have a business that requires interior space of a vehicle, but who for some reason don't want a van, would want this. Anyway, the list continues. It's a very exciting product that has absolutely no indication that it is coming to Australia, but who knows? We've seen other examples of something, a new model or updated model such as Julian 2024 coming to Russia first, but then it does make an appearance in Australia. I am keeping my fingers crossed because I do have reasons to believe that this car would have absolutely killed the market, aka would have sold really well here in Australia. Anyway, before we continue, unfortunately I have to repeat myself very briefly. Keep politics, any racist comments, anything anti-China or anti-Russia out of my videos, out of my comments. All comments get moderated first before they see the light of day, so no point pressing that button a few times and posting your comments several times. I can see them and I will either approve them, and I approve a lot even if you disagree with me. Just remain civil. Just remain civil is all I ask you to do. Otherwise, please enjoy the translation. Give the video a like before you drop out. Our host Alex here starts the review of Haval H5 by saying that many times they have heard from different people when they say that, oh, that's a nice Great Wall Motor pickup or ute, such as, I don't know, GWM Cannon or Poer or P series, if only they made a proper SUV on its base. Well, GWM Great Wall Motor heard someone's prayers, that's for sure. Sadly, that person was not from Australia, but never say never, as we are looking at the brand new Haval H5 that's coming to Russian market and is based directly on the lineup of Great Wall Motor pickups such as Cannon, P series, Poer, as they are known under different model names all over the world. Length of this beast of an SUV is 5.2 meters. Yeah, baby, that's Dmitry size, but I'm not gonna rant about it for too long. And it's based on the largest Great Wall Motor Poer King Kong model, apparently it's called. That is one of those oversized, grossly oversized pickups, or utes as we call them in Australia. This comes in two versions, just like the recently reviewed Haval H9 petrol 2-liter version of the engine, pumping out about 200 horsepower. And the second one, this one in front of us, 1.2-liter turbo diesel engine, pumping out about 150 horsepower, but obviously having different statistics on Newton meters of torque. What surprises reviewers of За Рулем here is that in both cases of the recently reviewed Haval H9 and now this H5, Great Wall Motor gives the Russian market an opportunity to go for the diesel choice that's oh so highly desired by the Australian consumer, I'm just saying, but for some unknown reason, which is surely explainable by our governmental policies and tax bracket deductions for them as a business, we get, you know, the closed-circuit EVs, the HEVs, which are not really classic diesel options, so everyone is perplexed. They can, clearly, but they don't want to give it to us, which flat out sucks, Great Wall Motor Australia. I'm just saying, because your mainstream media friends won't. Haval H5 has electrically powered the tailgate here, which I have personally learned to love on my Subaru Outback. It's such a great feature, it's not a gimmick, it's great to see that they have one here too. Crazy thing is that such a massive, oh my god, SUV is actually only 2 rows of seats and only 5, it's a 5-seater. It's not a 7-seater, but apparently they are considering to release that option for Russia, but this one is a 5-seater. Because honestly, with these vehicles' length being over 5 meters long, this is just asking for that second row, to be completely honest with you, to be comfortable, right? But no, weird. Luggage/camping space is
absolutely freaking ginormous. The largest I have seen in anything that is not a commercial van or a people mover, such as, I don't know, Kia Carnival. It honestly is very impressive and very, very appealing for someone who is price conscious and who loves this type of outdoorsy lifestyle and car camping and cheap holidays like me. There will be a lot of people in Australia who would gobble this up, okay? Such a massive boot comes with similarly massive underfloor storage compartments. They won't fit your bags, obviously, but they will fit your tools, water bottles, wires, I don't know, cords, whatever else, you name it. This space is also very cleverly designed to be modular rather than with predetermined slots, which means that you can fit whatever, virtually whatever you want in there. It's a small thing, but this is absolutely massive from usability perspective. I could not rave enough about this. I'm so impressed when this has been shown. Similar to the recently reviewed Haval H5, here we also see a predetermined and currently covered placement of a towing hook with all the electrical connections available as well if you're towing something, which is very, very smart, as Great Wall Motor clearly understands what these vehicles would be used for by a lot of owners who would buy them. With the second row of seats folded, the laying space lengthwise is over 2 meters long, according to our reviewer, which makes my heart rejoice for those who can get their hands on this car and cry for myself at the same time. Front seats are pleasant, materials are nice enough, but we're gonna say utilitarian, aka basic, compared to Haval H5, for example, because this, again, don't forget, is derived from one of those pickup, heavy-duty kind of pickup trucks, right, from GWM. It's not looking as premium as Haval H5, but it is what you would call and what I would call nice enough. It's a pass mark, for sure. It's a pass mark. Steering wheel is only tilt adjustable, but doesn't have telescopic adjustment like in and out built in, which is a little but a shame, I would say. It's slightly harder to adjust into a comfortable sitting position, according to our reviewer Alex here. Climate control and a bunch of other buttons are thankfully still, yet again, physical and not all hidden behind the infotainment screen over there. It is strange to see diff-locked controls on the frontal bar panel rather than next to the gear shifter, but I guess that's just how the Cannon pickups are assembled. That's okay, it's not a showstopper, it's just slightly strange. We yet again see the try-hard jet fighter pilot wannabe's wet dream joystick from Tank 300 here as a gear shifter. The functions of the 12-inch infotainment screen are basic according to our reviewer, but the main thing is that Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity are supported. Phew, thanks for that, GWM. But it clearly tells our reviewer here on the screen at one point that Android Auto requires a cable, aka is only wired. This is where one of our sponsors could very nicely come in, don't you think? With one of the numerous wireless display, CarPlay, Android Auto adapters, or AI box solutions that you can find linked in the description of this video with some generous discount codes available, if you're interested, of course. Digital instrument cluster and speedometer are here. Everything is as expected from a Haval vehicle. However, from just quick glimpse shown on the screen, I'm looking at this and they again are using Haval version of this rather than the Great Wall Motor pickup version of it, which I much preferred when I reviewed vehicles firsthand here in Australia. I would have hoped for them to give this a GWM pickup look of the speedometer and odometer, but unfortunately we again probably will be dealing with the useless rotating planets and other kind of stuff. Our host moves to the second row of seats and look how much space is there. It's practically a bus. We can see that even comparing it to H5 functionality, here at the back is basic. We don't have real generous climate control functions and everything is, like I said, rudimentary. But even Alex here kind of calls out that simply due to the sheer amount of generously given space, everything else is immediately forgiven because people buying this car will be buying it not for prestige like roaming around the city. They will be buying it for one reason only, to have this space used for your business, for your camping, for I don't know what else, your dogs at the back, and not much else. Passenger seats are slightly adjustable, but not much, even just kind of remembering the recent review of H9 model. But there is some kind of functionality such as rear heat seating is available here if you are in the cold regions. Driving this massive SUV feels sluggish, openly sluggish. 150 horsepower is not much, even with diesel engine. But then again, you're not a racer, you know, when you're buying this kind of thing, right? Alex says that while the acceleration is admittedly slow, the engine pulls its weight just fine, and fuel consumption is also nicely kind of balanced and is hovering around 10 liters per 100 kilometers, which for a massive vehicle like this is not just acceptable, it's great. You know, because I expected a lot more than that for fuel consumption. I think for day-to-day use it will work just fine. Similarly to what we heard in the review of Haval H9, Alex also says that while diesel options would immediately attract buyers because, oh wow, a Chinese vehicle with diesel, yeah, let's get it. After driving a car for a few days, he actually doesn't think that the buyers should discard petrol 2-liter engines straight away. Same reasoning is given here, as diesel fuel is getting more expensive strangely around the world. Better reliability of diesel engines versus petrol engines at this time is questionable because petrol engines are becoming much better, and petrol version of this vehicle simply costs cheaper straight away out of the gate and offers you more horsepower if you're trying to compare it on a napkin. Transmission here is still an automatic 8-speed ZF, and enough said about that because everyone loves it. Like, it's tuned really nicely, everyone says that it's highly reliable, it's very pleasant to drive. Suspension is independent at the front and one solid bar at the back, but not on leaf springs like the Great Wall Motor pickups would have. So here we have spring coils, making it a little more civilized and apparently nicer to ride on the road, not just off the road and in the city. One negative is insulation, sound insulation specifically, which explains the lower price point of this vehicle. Fair is fair. Alex says that even on a not bad road, like on a rather nice road, he can hear the road noise quite loudly coming from the wheel arches and from underneath the long body of this vehicle, and from the engine bay as well. So basically, if it is a serious purchase for you, wherever you are, can get your hands on this H5, you probably would do well to invest into an aftermarket sound deadening and insulation. Off-road capabilities are rather impressive, they're okay. Suspension is handling everything fine, even at speed. The car still stays straight. You don't need to invest a lot of effort like we were reviewing briefly bike, for example, vehicles where you had to hold the wheel for dear life in order to stay on the road. Here you don't need to. The only problem clearly is a low-ish clearance of only 200 millimeters, which is on the low side for any serious off-road vehicle, and here it's even more so noticeable simply because of a much longer wheelbase. This is obviously a very light off-road test, yet again not a thorough one, so Alex will test what he can, trying to go over obstacles where in the original footage where the sound was available, you can actually hear a little bit of a scraping sound of the bottom of the vehicle as he goes over those obstacles. Yeah, so he's trying to pull this long body of H5 over the things, and you can see that it's a very long dirigible of an SUV. So you win some, you lose some. You win in space and you lose in being able to crawl over these obstacles without scraping the bottom of your vehicle. So the only way to solve this failed hanging test, I suppose, problem is to either increase the clearance by lifting the car a little or increase it by installing larger wheels. It looks like wheel arches are large enough for you to get away with a couple more inches at least, I don't know. But underbody of your H5 will probably be scraped regularly all the time, especially if you go off-road and not just stay on the asphalt-covered roads. So I hope it is protected, similarly to how the bottom is protected of the Haval H9. But this review unfortunately doesn't show us the underbelly and doesn't show us that detail. Hopefully there will be more reviews. I would certainly be paying attention to this. Price, my friends, is very reasonable. It is, at the moment of recording of this video, stated at 3.7 million rubles for petrol model, and I will put some rough conversion for you here on the screen. I'm not going to stop on this for too long because prices change all the time and it's different regions of the world, so you can pause if you want to kind of mull over this a little bit more. You would pay a bit more for diesel engines and for the premium model, but I think overall, my conclusion is that this is yet another smart attempt of Haval, GWM Haval, to occupy every price point on the market. So this is fantastic because if you can't afford this, you can afford that, but you can still stay with buying a GWM vehicle, especially so generously sized one. And this is it, my friends. This is it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this, another translation of a wonderful automotive magazine's production, За Рулем. Please give the video a like if you have been watching this whole time. You're very special. Not everyone lasts till the end of these videos, so I do see you on the statistical charts and I do appreciate you. Please, your comments are all very welcome. I just very gentle reminder that I unfortunately have to repeat at the end of every video these days is that the influx of trolls has increased. People try to China bash or Russia bash. I don't tolerate this. Like I say, community guidelines are there for a reason. I have no tolerance for any of that kind of negativity. You can disagree. You can dislike this vehicle all you want. I welcome those comments, but just overtly don't bash and try and not offend the owner of this private club. Understand that this is not a political tribune for you to blurt out obscenities or things that are unrelated to the topics of my videos. I hope you understand and I hope you can respect this position. Thanks again for staying as long with me today in this video. Subscribe for more similar videos from me and like before you leave.